Are you here for the guided tour of Arkham Asylum? Excellent. Please remain seated and sane. The tour will begin shortly. A few quick notes before we start. Please do like, subscribe, and most importantly, don't wander off mid tour. Stay till the end to uncover all the secret of this twisted brick built facility. Alright then, let's begin. The Lego version of Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane was first assembled way back in 2006, and since then it's been reimagined. Mostly forcefully, it was rebuilt, rebroken, rebuilt again, and all thanks to its charming inmates. The latest version is massive, a dark Gothic fortress made of 2,953 Lego pieces, stacked across three eerily detailed floors, and yes, there are 65 stickers. 65. We will talk more on that real soon. Now look closely at the highlighted section on the grounds. This Arkham is a modular compatible, which means you can slot it right into your Lego cityscape next to, say, a brick bank or even a bookshop. Crime, cash, and classic literature all on one street? Absolutely wild, right? Honestly, Lego's decision to bring Arkham into the modular world is bold, unexpected, and frankly, genius too. But wait, it comes with some major flaws as well. Let's discuss. Let's talk about the first issue. Yes, it's modular compatible and built on a 32 by 32 base plate, but there is no space for a sidewalk. None. So, if you want to place this next to other modular buildings, you will have to modify it yourself. That makes no sense. Lego designers really should have accounted for this from the start. And for a highly anticipated 300 US dollar set, it's disappointing that Lego didn't include a sidewalk, especially considering this is their first ever DC modular. Moving ahead with our tour, inmates arrive in custom built delivery van, complete with a villain trolley and tranquilizer guns. On top, you'll spot a subtle nod to the 2006 set Arkham Asylum 7785, which was the first one. The van has that classic old Lego charm and it looks perfect. The entrance gate look majestic and really complement the overall architecture of the building. The asylum board is created using stickers. If you look closely at the site, you will spot a torn section of the fence. Looks like someone's already made a quick escape. Perched beside the gates are a pair of airy gargoyles, using the same mold as the ones from Lego Wednesday and Enid Dom set. A nice little detail for those who notice. And once you enter the grounds, you are greeted by a vandalized winged guardian statue. Don't even ask who defaced it, you already know. But here is the real question. Is this statue a minifigure? Lego says no. And yes, a few more stickers show up here as well. Coming to the interiors, on the left side is the main cell block holding Gotham's most unpredictable minds. There are six cells, three on the ground floor and three above. The windows are all barred, the cameras are always watching, and yet Poison Ivy has already slithered her vines through. The penguin is scheming an escape with his animals, and Bane is juicing up on his venom supply. Multiple cell doors can be opened at once using hidden levers tucked behind the yellow electric boxes. This is a very satisfying mechanism, almost like it's encouraging an escape. Honestly, I'm obsessing over this feature. Security here is really tight. There are two security guards and one is stationed at the watchtower. Flashlights are ready and they are keeping an eye on every corner. But let's be honest, in Arkham, chaos is just a matter of time. Especially with the Joker and Harley around, inmate escape is inevitable. The Riddler has already slipped past. He is leaving cryptic clues and crossword puzzles all along the walls of Asylum. He is daring anyone to solve his twisted questions. Mr. Freeze, he is turning the ventilation system into an ice storm, freezing doors, locks, and possibly everything around him. Scarecrow has breached containment and is flooding the corridors with his fear toxin, sending inmates and guards into a spiral of hallucination. And Killer Croc? Oh, he is doing it the old school way, tunneling out of his cell with a spoon and munching on a piece of chicken while he is at it. Classic Croc, right? And wait, we have a sticker tile mentioning Metropolis. Could this be a subtle hint that Lego Daily Planet is on its way, following the footstep of Daily Bugle? If so, that would be absolutely mind boggling. On the ground floor, we have got the multifunctional control room. This is where mugshots are taken, CCTV is monitored, and all doors are controlled. Now, here is the fun bit. The room is filled with Easter eggs. There is one of the tile that shows Clayface's mugshot. That means he has just been booked in. Then there is another sticker mentioning King Shark's height towering at 7 feet. That means he is an inmate here as well. But neither of them are there in the minifigure lineup. So what's Lego doing here? Are they teasing us with future releases? A surprise GWP? We really need those answers. If you zoom in on the wall details, there is also a photosynthesis equation which is a nod to poison ivy. And there is also a reference to radium. Why is this here? Could Arkham Asylum be experimenting with radium on inmates? Or is this a hidden reference to Professor Radium? I'm really curious. Now, let's step into psychologist's office. You will spot a recording machine and a very comfy, chasey lounge. Because, let's face it, being a psychologist to Gotham's most dangerous inmates, it is definitely the least desirable job in the entire city. Check out that wall. Employee of the month is now a wanted criminal. Says everything you need to know about this job and more. Oh, and there is a sticker reference to Harvey Dent, aka Two Face. He is not in the minifigure lineup, which is a real shame. Would have been so good to get him in this set. And if you look closely, there is a reflection in the door. It sure looks like Jeremiah Arkham, the sinister head of the facility. It's a creepy detail. We will have to wait and see if more surprises turn up in this set. While I love all the references and hidden details, this brings us to issue number 2. There are 65 stickers in a $300 set and not a single decent printed tile in sight. This is the kind of build where you'll constantly move things around and pose different scenes, but almost everything you touch is a sticker. It's kind of frustrating. I really wonder what Lego was thinking here. I'm quite baffled. Now, let's get on with the minifigure lineup. We get 16 characters in total, a mix of superheroes, anti-heroes, and supervillains. There is also that winged statue we saw earlier, but interestingly, Lego hasn't counted it in the official lineup. Anyway, let's take a closer look at each one of them. First up, we have Batman equipped with cloth wings and Batarang accessory. Not sure if this version is entirely unique. After all, we have seen over 300 Batman minifigures over the years. Next up, we have Robin, who looks absolutely stunning with a green mask, yellow cape, brand new torso print, and a sword. This version is exclusive to this set. Making his debut in LEGO DC is Batwing. This is the first ever authentic Batwing minifigure we are seeing. The suit has detailed torso and leg printing, and wing attachment look fantastic. Next, we have Batwoman, who appears more or less similar to her previous versions, with only very slight differences. But considering she hasn't shown up in many sets, she is still a nice addition to the lineup. She carries a grappling gun. Next, we have the classic anti hero, Catwoman. She has been seen in quite a few sets before, but this version comes with a new face print, printed torso, and printed legs, along with a whip as an accessory. Next, we have iconic Harley Quinn in her orange Arkham jumpsuit with a signature mallet. With so many iconic versions of her out there, this one looks very pale and normal in comparison, with nothing really significantly standing out. Next, we have the most famous supervillain, the Joker. He also shows up in an orange Arkham jumpsuit and carries his classic bang gun. This also uses a sticker. Sadly, no standout elements here either, and with a set of this grand, it would have been nice to see a fresh take on him. But Lego thinks, nah. Next up, we have Bane, also in orange jumpsuit, holding a canister of venom. It's his first appearance in this attire, but otherwise, he just feel okayish. Also, we have Killer Croc with his new crocodile green face print. It looks nice, but again, the standard orange jumpsuit does not do much to bring out his usual menace. Still, since he doesn't appear often, this is a decent version. Next up, we have the penguin, and he comes with his two animal sidekicks. And you guessed it, another orange jumpsuit. Not much flair, and he feels more plain than penguinish. Scarecrow is here too, and he is also in orange like the rest. He carries a fear toxin accessory. Compared to older, more terrifying versions of Scarecrow, this one feels a bit too underwhelming. I mean, look at that. It's really underwhelming. Next up, we have Mr. Freeze with his suit and freeze gun. He does look good and possibly exclusive, but if you are comparing him to the legendary 2006 version, this might fall short. We also have the Riddler with his classic green outfit and brand new prints on his torso and hat. He comes with a cane, though it's really just a Lego crowbar piece. Again, nothing stands out. Next up, we have Poison Ivy, and this version of Poison Ivy is exclusive to this set. And finally, she has a green face. I really like that change. She also has newly printed torso and printed legs. I just wish her hair and outfit had a bit more green infusion, but overall, she looks really good. Lastly, we have two prison guards in classic blue uniforms. Their accessories include a flashlight and a handcuff. Basic but necessary for keeping the villains in line, or at least for them to even try. So, to summarize, in total, we get 16 minifigures. Seems like Lego was trying to fix the criticism around X Mansion's sparse lineup. But sadly, that brings us to issue number 3. Many of these minifigures just feel okayish, including someone like Two Face, Clayface, or King Shark, especially after teasing them, would have been perfect here. Or at least they should have given us better prints, colors, or something truly unique in the existing lineup. Quantity alone doesn't justify a $300 price tag if it lacks that premium feel. I think Lego should take a note of these things. And that's your sneak peek at the upcoming Lego Arkham Asylum modular set releasing on September 9th. The brown, grey, and black color scheme gives it that brooding gothic edge. The roof details are great with angle bricks, spotlights, and AC units. The van looks solid and the play features are strong. The modular compatibility, it's cool in theory, but it's a letdown by the missing sidewalk. The minifigure lineup is decent, but it definitely could have been better. And the stickers, way too many of them. But overall, this is still a bold addition to the Lego Batman universe. Is it worth the price tag? We will know for sure only in September. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and bell icon so that you don't miss future updates. See you all in the next one.